Commissioner Earl is present by phone.
Yeah.
All right, Commissioner Downing,
Here.
Mayor,
Present.
City Clerk's present, Police,
Here.
Fire,
Here.
Public Works. Okay, he's pulling up now. City Attorney,
Here.
okay,
Public Works had to pull some information for you, please.
Huh?
Get to get some information.
yes. He was obtaining information for, he's walking in the door right now. All right, minutes have been put in everybody's box. They were there earlier in the week for review, so we're gonna try to approve these at the next board meeting.
That's Monday.
Correct.
That was great.
All right, Cassandra Banks, Creative Minds Academy, will be appearing before the board requesting a partnership with the city to host quarterly senior fitness and recreational activities at the auditorium. Not real sure what she's requesting. I don't know if she's gonna be requesting, just the use of the auditorium, not sure. Bruce Weinrob, he's requesting $2,500 from the city to support his second annual Sun House Tribute Festival. Do you know what that is?
This going to be next year. He's coming to be placed in the budget as one of the regular appropriations for sponsorship.
All right, Shannon Dixon requesting sponsorship for the 10th annual Cruising the Crossroads for October 25th. Ms.
Is it
Rhines,
an amount?
there's no amount on it, no. So he's thinking if there was an amount given last year, but he doesn't know how much.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Rhymes will be appearing before the board, I'm guessing for funds as well, it didn't say, but it just said, I'll be home for Christmas festival. Last year, 10,000 was given to them.
Thought we did it with 5.
She requested 15, I think.
20 is requested.
And then they got 10.
I think we gave her 10, I'm sure. Okay.
The budget don't look like we get too much.
It was what? It was 10.
Okay.
All right, Victor Wheatley had several things. Water distribution and drinking water quality. I think that's gonna be a public utilities matter.
Okay.
Solid waste management plan, standard operating. Procedures, comprehensive plan and, planning and plan. Now, comprehensive plan is a matter that's being worked on currently. I know that they've had several meetings with the planning commission, correct?
So we've completed the comprehensive plan. We are now working on redoing our zoning ordinance. So according to after the comprehensive plan was finished in December of 2024.
He's got departmental and divisional operating plans and SOPs. I mean, we have job descriptions for each employee, so I'm not real sure what that is. Employee handbook and safety manual, I know that currently is being looked at.
Yes.
And proactive code law enforcement of existing ordinances and codes. That is a matter that the board has instructed the Public Works Department to start enforcing. So I do know that matters have come up and gone before the court. Homer Braylock, Blue Cross Blue Shield, he's the agent of record right now. He was coming to speak to the board about the renewal of medical insurance. So not sure what he's gonna be discussing, but this is the matter that I have requested proposals to come in the next couple of weeks. So I've got two companies that are looking at it right now. Dandy Jackson is requesting to appear before the board. His comment was he would keep appearing before the board till he received money,
What kind of money?
$700. Remember, Mr. Jackson's the one on Cherry Street. It's not a legit thing. That would be an illegal donation of funds if the city was to give him the money. The residents on Lizzie Road has submitted a petition requesting that this private road be dedicated to the city, requesting the city to maintain and to be used as a public road. I think it would be a matter of repaving that road right now, because I think it's in pretty bad shape.
Where's Lizzie Road?
You go down New Africa Road, go to the right, Lizzie Road is first, and Gratifiore would be the next street. You know where Gratifiore is?
Yes.
So it's in
Is
this
it a
way.
well-traveled road?
Lizzie Road is probably about 5 or 6 houses on it.
About 6 hours.
It's a real small road.
So they're not doing us any favor. No, I can understand. I'm sure they want to repay it. Costs us a fortune for 5 houses. I got you.
Is it considered a city street then?
No,
No, it is, when it was annexed in as a private drive. It was a private drive when it existed in the county, and when it was annexed in, it was still a private drive.
It's a private drive.
Yes,
Mr. Earl is asking a question. Go on, Mr. Earl.
So my question is, that road has numerous potholes, and it is very hard for emergency vehicles to get down to that road if something happens to somebody. That road is very much attention. It's not in the 21st century era. I mean, we don't have any other roads that are gravel. All of our roads are paved. So if they are dedicating that road to the, and they're spending their tax dollars, and that road needs to be upkept just like the rest of the roads. There's no way that an ambulance or police cruiser can get down through there with the potholes that they have. If your road don't look like that, then their road should look like it. You can have access and entry into your driveway and get out without a problem. They should be able to as well.
it was
Because
a
they're
private
good.
drive.
You can get there without getting that pothole there in the
Not the
roadway.
city's
They should
responsibility.
be able to do it as well.
Oh, okay, so my question is it a private road?
It was a private road when it was in the county, but when we annexed it to the city, it became a part of the city.
No, it's still a private road.
The tax dollars to the city of Clarksdale to make the very same services that the other cities pay.
He has a good argument, and that we would request council to give us some advice on it, because now that is an annex to the city, the individuals down there. Do we, how is that taken into consideration when
So,
we do that?
Before you ask that question, my question is, so if it's annexed to the city, when it's annexed from the county to the city, does that still change the definition of what a private road is? That's what I'm asking.
It does not. So currently, it is still a private road in private hands. What the petition is doing is asking the city to
Change it.
accept the dedication and make it a public road, and then the city will be responsible for maintaining it as a public road.
And we would be responsible for all the money, paving and so forth.
Correct.
I don't understand why we couldn't, if we giving people $20,000 donation and $10,000 donation. That street is just as important as
Two
all of
different
these
discussions.
festivals and stuff.
Exactly. And if you're able to access your road without a problem, they should be able, they're taxpayers,
I agree.
it has to be a reason that you went and annexed to the city, that means we need money. So if they spending their tax dollars, they need the same services as other people.
Now, that's the argument I'm looking at in terms of their taxpayers. And although it's a private road, I understand.
When do we annex it?
I guess for future, I'm not saying pay it tomorrow. accept tomorrow.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is that it's a part of the city now. How do we deal with issues like that? If I annex, what's the road out there that we missed on the annexation? Probably what you do actually. If I annex that area, then what do I do when I annex?
Well, we annex a lot of areas and we don't, they promise curbs and gutters and all that, and they don't do it, so.
They're not private roads though,
Right.
the ones that we've annexed in.
How long ago we annexed that area?
2019, it was completed in 2019,
2019, they just now want
but
to
it
donate.
started when did that
But
start?
my point is, Commissioner Harris, they spending their tax dollars. That's my argument. They're spending their tax dollars.
They
Just
were
like you
spending
and
tax
I and
dollars when
everybody
they were
else.
in the county.
So if you lived out there, when you want your road paid,
Yeah,
you
they
get your
do.
house without a problem. They can.
They pay taxes when they were in the county. I mean, they never escape taxes. I mean, it seems like they donated us now.
But they're paying taxes to the city of Clarksdale, Commissioner Harris. You can get on Porter Road without a problem. With no problem.
They're
The police
more than
can
5
get
houses
your
on Porter
residence
Road.
with no problem.
I
So
know,
be considerate of others.
I know it's expensive, right? And we can't afford anything. Has it been done before? Okay. At what point do we consider it in the future when finances are there? Do we consider when we start paving other areas of the city as one of the first places to be paved? That's going to require some research to see what's the right thing to do for tax.
Whose ward is that in?
I don't know.
It's in Ward 3.
Okay. Every year they let us pick out 2 streets, let Eddie pick out one out when it comes up again.
I mean, I'm not saying that we have to do it right away, but at least let's show some kind of compassion for the citizens that live out there.
Amen.
It don't have to be done right away because the city is not in a position right now to be able to do it. But let's still consider let's do this. It don't have to be right now, but let's do it because it's the right thing to do.
I do, I think it should be taken on the strong
And you gotta think
consideration.
about it.
We'll
Our
take-
police vehicles, our ambulance service had to go out there. They have potholes out there knee deep. I have a pickup truck and it's hard for me to get down through there.
We'll take it.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
let's be considerate of others.
Okay, so paving roads, generally, we have to do a bond issue because it is so expensive to do it. That is one of the matters that we would be discussing maybe later on, and later in the future is doing another bond issue, and it could be something that could be considered at that time to pave that road, to take it in and pave it at that time.
And we could consider talking with the county, because it's still in the county. Even if we adopted it and, just run a grade across it, just get the potholes out. So,
But it's not the counties that goes out, if it's annexed in.
right, but it is the county, but there's a lot of work that the county does in the city now, if they would consider it.
The county can't go on their road to fill in the potholes right now because it is a private road, just like the city cannot go on their road and fill it in right now because it is a private road. The only way that the county or the city could do something to their road is after it becomes a public road by being accepted by the city. So right now it is a private road, and any paving on that road would be an illegal donation.
We agree, now we agree that it has to be accepted by the city first. We all agree to that.
I mean, why wouldn't we accept it as a part of the city? We should gladly accept it.
Is it
I
gravel?
mean, that's the only road in the city that is gravel. We have to move to the 21st century, guys and ladies. We can't keep living in the dark days. And that's living in the dark days. No one has paved gravel roads anymore.
I think
Now
we're on
we
the
should
same
go ahead
page
and
with
accept
that,
that
yeah.
road and
I
adopt
think
that
everybody's
road
on the
as
same
part of the city of Clarksdale, just like we can take it down to the city of Clarksdale.
We'll take it, Commissioner.
Okay, moving on. All right, sales tax report is in your packet. So far, we're doing pretty good on sales tax. that would be, collected in August. We have one more check to receive in September. And it was up from last year, 4,142. Puts us over budget 26,685 for the year. Like I said, we have one more month, and feel quite certain we'll at least meet our budget on the sales tax. Park Commission is having trouble with the bay door. They can't use it, so therefore they're unable to get into their bays to get some of their equipment out. They're having to store it elsewhere or out on the street. So they have obtained quotes to replace that door. They're asking permission for the city to take care of it. The lowest one was Grenada overhead door for $10,500. The municipal school district has sent their order in, authorizing me to levy a tax. That is the only way that I can levy a tax, is for them to request taxes on the ad valorem. Of course, they're gonna do that every year. I have no control over whether to accept or not accept. This board has no control. We have to accept whatever they request. And all we have to do is acknowledge the order that we received it. There is a cap on the maintenance fund, which is 55 mils, but they're already at their 55 mils. They've been at that for years. If they want to increase that 55 mils, it would require an election and put out to the citizens to decide whether to increase it or not. I do have to, I'm sorry, what?
Where are they now for the, was it .0 or something?
It was, so the levy for the school was going up to 71.31, and it was 71.23. So they have a 3 mil note that they're making a payment on. So I have to levy a tax for that to make the payment each year. They have the 2018 bond issue. Remember, that's the bond issue that built the school. I have to levy a tax to make that payment as well. And then they request a levy for shortfall. So it's where they came up short the year before and an amount of money that they needed.
Okay.
You will see those numbers on this tax roll sheet that I passed out earlier. You'll see how much they've requested. You'll see how much the levy was for last year, and then what I am levying for this year. Once again, it's not anything that you can deny. We have to do it by law. And all I have to do is acknowledge receipt of that order to the Monday. I have a resolution in there for DRA. It's which I need a motion today on this one. Authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute the resolution. It's appointing Mayor Payton on behalf of the city of Clarksdale to perform any and all duties and administration of said award with Delta Regional Authority.
I have a motion.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor, use vote sign.
Aye.
Aye, said motion.
I have a release of less pendings. I came across this in my office. 501 Prince, apparently it was paid in May of 24. Whenever the property cleanups are paid in full, we have to do the release of less pendings. So I've prepared it and we'll have it sent over to the courthouse once it's approved on Monday. The agreement for the agenda software is up in September. I need approval to go ahead and extend that for another year.
Is that the one they put in last year?
No, that's not the
Different
same thing.
one?
That's this software. Medical leave, Josephine Bruce will be out on medical leave for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And just need to acknowledge it. Miscellaneous claims, the election commission has sent their request for payment. And Lamar Christian Plumbing, had an invoice in there as well. Quality of Life appointment, Ward 2, will you be ready for that Monday? Election Commission appointments. The board needs to appoint 3 election commissioners. I have also put the section of the law in there, quoting it. Municipalities having a population of less than 20,000 according to the last federal decennial census shall appoint 3 election commissioners. Municipal election commissioners hold their offices until their expiration of the term of the appointing authorities. The offices of the previously appointed municipal election commissioners become vacant on the date on which the current term of the governing authority begins. So in other words, the prior election commission went out June 30th, and it's up to this board to appoint 3 people, and 3 is all we can appoint based on our population. We have an election that we're looking at coming up November 18th, and I have to have an election commission to handle it. Now, we do have the option to use the county if the board wants to enter in an agreement with the county.
I like the 3 we got.
And that will be voted on, that will have to be voted on Monday, so.
The election isn't until the 18th, right?
But there's quite a bit to do before then. And I'm waiting from the Secretary of State's office to give me my dates of when I can start. Because you have absentee voting, you have to allow people to come in and register to vote at least 30 days before the election.
And up to 45 days still available. So this is a special call. Since it's a special election, it runs a little bit differently, but
So we have to get started. Library board appointment, your appointment's coming due. Commissioner Harris, expires September 30th, 25. As far as the library board goes, it's a 2-term appointment. Ms. Townsend was appointed in 23, so that's just part of a term. And she must be a resident, or the individual must be a resident and qualified elector of the city. So you can choose to reappoint or you can appoint somebody else. And that's September 30th. And then Park Commission, I've already talked to the mayor about his. His expires September the 8th, and that individual must be a resident and a qualified elector of the city as well. And this is the mayor's appointment for the Park Commission. I have longevity increases in the inspection department, fire department, and dispatch. I have planning commission. First of all, we would like to acknowledge receipt of the planning commission minutes from August the 12th. There was 2 requests in there. One was requesting approval for conditional use of Myron Fields to build apartments at MLK and LaFleur. And the second one was requesting to approve conditional use of Eddie Taylor to operate an event center at 219 Yazoo. There were conditions to that approval, that the owner manages the litter control, that he has security on site for each event, and that he has crowd control to prevent loitering, congregating outside of the venue. Those would be the recommendations to the board as well, and it should be noted in the minutes. We had a couple of matters we wanted to I was asked to put on the agenda for discussion. One of them being permits that are issued by the Public Works Department. That would be building permits, electrical permits, mechanical, plumbing. Is that it? The discussion was to increase the rates. They haven't been increased for quite a while. I don't know if they've ever been increased.
Well, the current permit.
What's the rate increase?
Well, this is the first he's heard about it, so. and I just asked him to bring you what the rates are now. So it'd be a matter of you reviewing what it says and,
Sorry. Building permit, of course, is $25 per thousand spent in construction costs. So it's based on the project that they're doing, or how much it would be. So it's $25 for the first thousand plus $60 for each additional thousand. And as y'all well know, right now, even if they're pulling a permit or not pulling the permit, they're still dumping their debris on the side of the road for us to pick up. And they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to haul it out.
We're going to attach a, where they had to get a dumpster if they were gonna get a building permit. I mean, I go by, I pass 7 and Craig's having to pick all that up and takes him away from picking up stuff for the city. And then all the contractors, you see the lumber stacked up out there, they're not taking it anywhere. They should be paying to take that to the landfill themselves, not us. So I think we ought to make them mandatory if you get a permit to have to get a dumpster to go with it. I mean, they're responsible for that, not us. And they're taking advantage of the city, in my opinion.
I agree. What about the cost of the dump? Is there a way for them to get there with a trailer or anything? I totally agree with you.
As long as they haul it off, I don't know if they haul it off. I mean, but you ride down the street, they got so many houses they're adding on to it, rooms, and got it bad enough, we gotta pick up all those mattresses and chairs and sofas, let alone the building products. That's just, he's already shorthanded, we can't keep 3 boom trucks running now. Let them carry their own construction work on.
Any contractor is responsible for removing their own debris. If you're working on your own home, then you can place it out. And they have learned the system so far. So, it's always, you stop and talk to them, they're not a contractor, they own the house. Well, I mean, we can research it and find out, but in most cases, you can tell a contractor and a homeowner working.
or they'll say that I did the work myself, I didn't have a contractor.
If we don't catch them working on it.
We'll just put a clause in there for any home repair, remodeling that they got to carry. And what happens, the neighbors call, it just makes the street look bad, they all calling us, but what about $520, whatever, it's all crap out there in the street and not picking it up, and we said, well, the homeowner's gotta do it because he remodeled the house. The city's still looking bad, we suffer no matter what.
I agree with you.
I mean, they don't send some working Craig, yeah, that's crazy.
Just to interject a little more into that, I think the property owners, these landlords ought to have to get a roll-off dumpster to remove furniture when they evict someone.
I agree, 100%.
Agree.
We'll move on to the gas permit. It's a $10 charge for an air test. Of course, after the fees are added, it comes out to $26. The issue fee is $15. The filing fee is $1, and then $10 for the air test itself. Which that air test includes the inspector coming out and making sure that it's holding the amount of pressure that it's supposed to. Plumbing permits just depends on what they're actually doing as far as in the house or outside. There's different rates for each thing. Mechanical permit, depending on BTUs as far as what is charged.
We don't get a lot of these.
No. And the electrical is the same way. It depends on what they're doing. If they're just reattaching the meter base, doing a weatherhead, there's an application fee, and then it's so many dollars for each electrical outlet or light switch or whatever they may be doing in the property.
Craig, isn't there in the back of the codes that we have adopted, I think, 2012? Isn't there a rate fee in there as well that we could use or go by?
I would have to go back and look and check and see. And have that information by Monday. It's been a while since I looked in the code book, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and that's another thing that our books are outdated. We do have, I think, 2018 that needs to be updated. There are some things in the book that we would like to exclude. And that requires adopting the 2018 by ordinance. And then in that ordinance, you would have to put your exclusions in there as well. But we do need to get upgraded to the 2000, at least the 2018.
We'll take, and these are current or updated fees.
That's
These
the
are
current.
current fees.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you, sir.
And so we can look in the book to see what rates it shows in there, and then maybe give you an estimate of what we think it should be.
Sounds great.
But we just wanted to put it before the board and let the board know. Because if there's not an interest, there's no point in us checking into it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cell phone service. I had a commissioner approach me about changing it from AT&T to C-Spire.
I requested that, C-Spire was one of our biggest donors to our city for all our events. Hugh Meaner's a local gentleman. He came from Clarksdale, so I think it behooves us. He gave our city excess of like $10,000 for different projects when we were with C-Spire, and we threw them under the bus for AT&T.
What's the difference in the prices?
Well, we're gonna get a bid. We hadn't had it yet.
So you're gonna get a bid from C-Spire to
Yes, ma'am. We're just
compare
opening
with
for
AT&T?
discussion to see if it
Well,
would be
you would get a
beneficial.
bid from both,
Both.
but they ran about the same. There was not, the last time we did it, there was not much difference in the price at all.
But the reason I push it, AT&T doesn't do anything about city and C-Spire. Hugh Meaner does a ton.
And so the $10,000 was not directly to the city. It was-
Exactly, it was
it was
spread
two
out on different
events,
things.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, Mr. Meaner would certainly be an asset for our city.
Have we asked AT&T for anything?
We haven't done anything yet.
Okay.
It's just.
That would be a matter before the board to decide, do we want to go out and take proposals, or what we need to do. And this
Yeah, I'm
would
talking
be,
with the donations.
Now, wait.
that's not us.
We're saying that we're just properly asking for bids,
That's correct.
not because we're getting donations.
No. Just-
Okay, let's be very clear what we're saying
Thank
in a public meeting.
Thank you.
We're properly asking for bids.
The city cannot ask for any
We're
donations.
properly asking for bids, okay?
No,
Nor can we receive them.
No, no.
Thank you.
As far as regular city business, that's all I have. The next matter that I wanted to bring up was the discussion of the budget. So, I mean, I guess if there's anything else before we get into that, does anybody else have any other matters?
Yes, the road at George H. Alvin and back to the mayor is just a small stretch of road that they wanted, paved. It's not that much. Their parents come through a different section now because the because the buses have to go through another section, and it's gravel or dirt, and they just wanted that area. Maybe gravel or something, whatever we can, suggest or look at to be the cheapest that the city would be able to do. And that's for George H. Albert School.
Just wanna make sure this is the public road, this is which street?
It's, George H. Albert.
It's at the school.
It's right there. The park is right in front of it, so I know it has to be a public road because the park is right around there. The, Dave Self Park.
Yeah, it's gonna be the gravel road that runs behind the National Guard.
Yeah,
Right.
Dave Self Park.
Okay.
It's actually an alleyway that runs.
The alley,
Yes.
okay.
comes
So it's
beside
not
the
named
school.
street?
No.
Okay, I was trying to get the name of the
It-
street.
No, it runs alongside George H. Albert, it curves and goes back out. So,
It's an alley, don't name anymore.
Don't go confuse it.
George H. Alvin Alley, that's the name.
Diplomacy.
Is there any other matters? Nope.
Good.
Couple more things, I want to make sure, I know that, We met with Chief and we met with, Public Works. We were assisting, W.A. Higgins and Booker T,
Mhm.
with their schools, during the morning and afternoon, pickup of students. So we want to do further discussion on that to make sure that we're doing our part to assist them. So I think we've worked out some things with
Yeah,
those schools.
as far as on our part, we, I try to get an officer over there, I'm trying to move them around as much because we have so many schools here, but we're getting them around to all the schools to make sure that right now, the beginning of the year, getting them started. And, that's kind of our thing that we're doing.
Can I give a tip? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. It's somebody with a Mustang that comes through here going, I know 60, 65. And I need to get his tag number. I really do because he scares me. He scares me. If I'm out at work in my yard, he'll come down that road. I mean, he's going like he's going bad out of hell. I'm sorry.
I know Corporal Sanders has, been in that
Yeah,
area.
he has, but he's, like I said, on the Ritchie side. But it's this Chestnut side. He comes round through here. I've seen him come this way, and he comes down, he puts whoever out, and then he just hauls butt going down, But it's like a Camaro, Mustang, it's some kind of race looking car, and it's beige. I ain't no color. Yeah, so.
We'll
He's
check
going
it
too
out.
fast to read the tag.
I ain't never thought about that, but early in the morning, he's putting the kids out. Sometimes it's a he or she that's putting the kid out. And then once they do, they,
Last class, he's come off of State Street, 49, the other one.
just,
Is there any other matter? Right, I have passed out the proposed tax increase that we were looking at. So first of all, property valuations have dropped a lot. It's a whole lot. Real property has dropped and the assessed valuation has dropped $3 million. I am currently trying to work with Ann Williams over there at the courthouse because I think it's too much money. I don't see how it could have dropped that much in the last year. Like I said, that's an assessed valuation. That's not even the true valuation. You're talking lots of money. And so she does have her computer people looking at it to see if there's a problem or something wrong in the valuation. It is only in the real property, for the regular. Now, when they do tax rolls, they have a tax roll for regular, City of Clarksdale regular. Then you have the annexed area, because in the annexed area, you don't collect city taxes for the school. They collect county taxes for the school, still in the annexed area. And then you have personal property taxes, regular, personal property, annexed. And so those are 4 rolls that I get from them. And let's see, I think I even put the second page shows you all the valuations. It shows you what it was last year and compared to this year. Overall, the assessed valuation has dropped $2,189,000. That really has hurt our taxes. If I levied the same amount of taxes, we would be coming up with a shortfall already, just based on that. So I've had to go in and definitely do a tax increase just for the general fund. Through the other funds that we levy a tax, now the disability and relief is the old retirement program for fire and police. And we have to levy a tax, and they tell me how much to levy each year for that. So I don't have any choice on it. Your bond issues depends on what bond payments I have and how much they are. That's on the front page. I do have one bond issue that's gonna be paid for in 26, in the spring of 26. And then I have another bond issue that's gonna be paid for in 27. So those amounts are a little bit lower what I need to close them bond issues out. And then you have the $5 million, one of the $5 million bond issues that I levy a tax for, and it did, let's see, it stayed the same, 5 mils. Overall, I'm looking at going from 93.27 to 100 for the city of Clarksdale. And then for the school system, as I said earlier, it was 71.23 to 71.31. For a total tax increase, it's going from 164.50 to 171.31 mils. I do have a little worksheet, a tax statement that would show, like, for an $85,000 home with homestead, it would be about a $50 increase. Without homestead, it would be about an $85 increase. So I do have that figured out.
Well, Ms. Cathy, if the value of the homes are going down, and then we're going to assess more tax on them, that's kind of a difficult pill to swallow. Because if my value is already going down, and then you're gonna give me a little bit more that I got to pay, you know, I know that this may be the only way, but I think about people. My heart is for the people. It's all the way for the people.
So I don't know that I can say the value of your home is going down, because I have not been able to find what the problem is, or
Neighborhood might be going down.
well, you might have that. But to have a significant decrease like that, it would have to be some huge property owner, like the hospital. I mean, that was my first thought, was because the hospital went into the county, therefore they're not paying taxes on it. But that was not the issue, because that right there was $3 million. It would have to be something like that. Now, I will say that next year, they only do a reassessment of properties once every 4 years. And so nobody's property values have changed yet in the last 4 years. Next year is when they're doing the reassessment. And so that's when we're gonna see a change, whether it goes up or whether it goes down. I do know that legislation passed a law that said how they assess the properties will change. I'm not sure, because I don't deal with all of that. That's Ann Williams, but she did tell me, I verified it with her, and she did say that yes, their formula in figuring up the assessed value will change next year. And it's gonna make the values go up ultimately. So if the values go up, then that's something that would have to be addressed when we're looking at the levy. I do know, like, Bolivar County, this is their year for the reassessment, and they put a notice out saying that they are gonna look at, when Bolivar was DeSoto, wasn't it? It was DeSoto County put a notice out saying that they were having to refigure the assessed values based on what legislation passed, and that they were gonna strongly look at the amount that they're levying, and hopefully they would be able to reduce the levy. Now, we're talking DeSoto County, who has more tax dollars coming in. They can throw that out there. It's easier for them to make a statement like that, unlike Coahoma County.
I guess we'll be able to go over this in detail, so when we say, yeah, the tax increase, we need to be able to fluently explain to people who understand what probably happened. I know you said there's a gap, a hole where something happened, and you guys can't see it right now. So hopefully we can see that before we
I
start
hope
talking.
she, yeah, I mean, we,
Is it true part of that is with the approved assessment roles of the county? Have they approved the assessment role, or is that,
that's a preliminary,
that's preliminary?
that's still preliminary, in the preliminary, phase.
So they have not approved the file, and that's where you will get the values from.
But you probably will not see the final until November. I don't usually get it until November. And so typically what we do is you have your hearing in the last board meeting in August, and you adopt your tax levy resolution at that time. If you do not adopt it at the August 25th board meeting, you will have to have another public hearing on it, and it has to be adopted before September 15th. So whatever happens has to be decided quickly. Now the budget, we're gonna have the budget hearing Monday as well, but you cannot adopt the budget at that time. You have to wait at least a week before you can adopt the budget. Final budget has to be adopted before September 15th as well. I'm hoping she can kind of give me answers at least where I can explain why there was such a decrease in the valuations. But just it's, the real property is 761 pages, and just scanning down through it, looking, I just could not see anything that was really big.
So county property don't affect it. Do it?
No, it does.
Like if we tore the jail down, would that something like that affect it?
Oh, no. If it's owned by the county, no, it does not affect. So any city property, county property, none of that affects. True enough, we did a lot of demolitions, but all those demolitions should not make that much of a difference. As far as budget goes, I gave you another little packet. Let's go to page 2 first. I've got capital projects that are in this budget that we would like to consider. There are some things that we're going to try to get done, hopefully, without having to go through the general fund and go through a bond issue that we currently have. It's the $5 million bond issue. Those funds have to be expended by December of this year. And so, for example, elevator in City Hall has to be redone. I have in the budget $217,000 for it. If I can go ahead and get the specifications out and get that started, then that could be something that could go through the bond issue. And then we wouldn't have to go through our capital project fund to handle that, which ultimately hits our general fund. Another one is auditorium repairs. It's a big one, $320,000. And I'll just start that. That is for some roof work over the South Annex. It is the damages that were done because of the leaks that we had in there, and it also replaces all of the bathrooms over there at the auditorium. So that one we did at the last board meeting, get permission to go ahead and get started on it. And hopefully we can get the bids going out and maybe have the bond issue pay for that as well. Another thing that was brought to my attention that I got an estimate on was the air conditioning unit in the main auditorium needs to be replaced. That's $169,000. Melvin and I were talking about that the other day. That as well could be considered in the bond issue. So, and we do have a lot of problems with that AC unit over there. And it's just time. And then there's just, the others are, just capital improvements, standard stuff. Let's see, of course, you have your audits you have to pay for. I've just stuck that money over into capital projects to cover it. That amount of money is for 2 years. You're gonna have the same amount that you're gonna have to pay hopefully next year. And then we'll go to 1 a year. The library, they had a phase 2 improvements. Haven't heard anything else on it, so I'm not real sure where they're at. Hopefully they will be here Monday and then we can find out about it. But phase 2 was supposed to be at 80,000 and we had stuck aside 80,000 for the city and 80,000 from the county. We had stuck that aside to help cover that. Police department, 3 cars. This would be the cars and the accessories that go with it. And so that came to $160,000. In the fire department, air packs are very expensive. They're $10,500. We're hoping to get another 2. We're trying to build those up over there in the fire department because they again have a timeline on them and they're getting expired. So we need to start building those back up.
What are air packs?
That contains breathing apparatus. That's what we use to go inside the house, protect us from the
That's their oxygen.
smoke and
Okay.
How
toxic gas.
many
Alright.
do you already have?
I think it's like about 20 something, but you know they go in and out, so replace like 24, 26.
And we were looking at doing 2 in general fund and 2 in the fire department special.
Yeah.
We get insurance rebate money from the state. We put it in a separate fund. It can only be used for firefighting equipment. You can buy a fire truck with it, and then that's it. There's nothing else you can do with that money. And they are real strict with it. I have to send a report to them every year with what we did with the money, and they have to approve that. They will not send you your next year's money until they have approved all of that. Another thing that we're trying to keep up is the nozzles. The equipment changes, they get upgraded, and so sometimes the nozzles change. And so we need more nozzles. Thermal image, we need another camera that's $10,000. And then intakes, 6,400. I think that was for 3 of them.
Yeah.
And that goes on the fire truck. It's kind of a help me, it's a filter kind of.
Yes, it's what we bring the water into the truck, but the water's so hard in Clarksdale, it just throws the intake, so. And it starts leaking on the trucks. Instead of putting it back and messing the trucks, it just replace the intakes.
Those things just are not cheap. In inspection department, one of the things that we discussed was hiring another individual. We've pulled David out to help with assist and supervise the public works department. His manpower has picked up and therefore he needs more help. And so David is out on the street all the time, making sure knuckle booms are where they are, street sweepers are, that everything's functioning like it's supposed to be. So therefore, I don't have an inspector, I don't have a code enforcement, 2 people in that office, and they are very busy all the time. So we looked at putting an additional person in that office as well. I put that in the budget to assist with it. We have talked about maybe the individual that's over there now, moving him into inspector. He has agreed that he would do the certification program and go through that. And so then it would be the code enforcement. Again, that is another thing that we talked about, was enforcing these codes. And if we're gonna get out and start enforcing these codes, then somebody's gonna have to be there to do it. And requires their time in going to court also. to defend the city's part and present it to the judge. In doing so, I would have to have another vehicle for that individual.
Ms. Kathy, could you say we would have to have, because you're acting like this your money, and I'm not trying to be funny, but just said we need another vehicle, or that would make me feel better.
Okay,
Thank you.
I mean, I'll try. I just get
Please
busy
try.
in it. Okay. Street department. He needs a small dump truck. Another truck. Of course, we always need weed eaters. We have trouble with the weed eaters. They only last so long because, of course, we're busy with the weed eaters. They go all the time from May to October. Lawnmowers, trying to keep up with the lawnmowers. Then we have, did somebody say something? Matching funds for, you have the Sunflower River, walkway that you're doing. It's going down Sunflower Avenue. And then you have the, river walk that's going along across the river and getting you from one side of the river to the other side. So those are the matching funds. One was $95,000, one was $25,000. Animal control, we were looking at another truck. And the one we were looking at was one that had the cages that were that you could put in the back of it. City shop, he's requesting a tire machine, which was around $10,000. Give or take, I just Googled that. And a truck for the shop, $45,000.
Time.
No, mechanic truck.
And then landfill. And this honestly wouldn't even touch what it needs to be at the landfill, but
It's a dime.
we put $250,000 in it.
You need to knock another toll for the land.
So that being said, that was $1.6 million. As I mentioned earlier, we had a bond issue that's gonna be paid for in the spring of '26, another bond issue that's gonna be paid for in '27. Of course, with the bond issues, you have to levy a tax to make the payments each year. I do have another $5 million bond issue that we do not levy a tax for. That's paid for through the modernization fund. And that's the internet sales tax money that comes in. It comes in twice a year. And it's enough money that makes that bond payment each year. Of course, and I have to show that in the budget as well. But I was gonna propose doing another bond issue for next year, possibly in the spring. Like I said, that's the only way you can pave streets. There are other issues that we need to look at. Again, we're talking about air packs. One thing the fire department definitely needed was a Jaws of Life. They run $60,000. They're very expensive. Street department, we talked about a tractor and a bush hog. That was about $125,000. A low boy and a truck is $250,000. Street cleaning, you know that we're having trouble with the vehicles that we have in that department. I think we only have one that's functioning. Huh?
And it's not functioning.
Okay. And it's not real good. They are $285,000 each.
Let me ask you something on that. You know, as a citizen, when I hear street sweeper, somehow they keep tearing it up. And I'm not putting it on anybody. So is it that our streets are bad or we using it in the wrong place? I'm learning because I keep hearing street sweeper.
The sweepers that we have purchased in the past, they're a had my suction head on it like a vacuum cleaner. But they're stationary, and when you get over to the curb, our streets drop off. You have anywhere from an inch to 3 inches drop off into our flow line, which is where the sweeper really needs to be. And when you do that, that head just drags along and it tears everything up. So we're looking at trying to go back to what we originally had with all the brushes, and there's more moving parts, but I think they would work out for our city better.
Thank you.
He's also requesting a leaf machine. The one we have is very old and I don't think it's gonna make it even. We discussed it. It sounds like it's in pretty bad shape,
We should get that.
but it's $140,000.
Stop all those rains in the fall.
Yeah,
God bless.
it is a nightmare. And then trash collections, knuckle booms, we're looking at possibly getting 4. It would help within the department. We are down to 1 knuckle boom, I think currently right now. We had 3 going, but 2 are messed up that we're trying to get fixed. But we definitely need 4 new knuckle booms.
And as we look at the price, I mean, by the time we finish with the repairs, you could have purchased one.
Yes.
Most definitely. Because the repairs are very expensive on these, especially on those street sweepers.
Take across the-
Repairs are very costly in it. Park Commission was requesting a roof for their office building. It leaks really bad. They've been complaining for years and they just need a new roof. And they would like, and I don't have any idea how much that is. But they would like us to consider that as well.
Just off.
There's one like that. They're in the gym. aren't they? They're in the gym. They're not in the office. It's over off Shiner. They're in the gym.
So is there a total on the proposed bond issue item? Is there a total on that?
No, that'd be something that y'all would have to decide how much you want to go for. These were amounts that I got. Now, in the past, like for street paving, we would do anywhere from $2 to $3 million. Doesn't get a lot of streets done, especially this day and time, because everything is very, very costly. And this is a lot of money. When you start looking at all these other items. And of course, like I said, now with the bond issue, that's gonna be, what I would recommend would be payment coming out of that modernization fund. You already have 1 payment, but I believe it is strong enough that it can cover 2 payments. When you get with your bond attorney and your bond counsel, they would be able to advise you whether that was a smart decision or not as well. They could break it down and show you how much they anticipate to come in. And I talked to them when we were down there about the modernization funds. I've talked to the mayor about it as well. Don't see any problem with us not ever getting that money. I think that will continue and we will continue to receive that money. Now, that being said, there is 1 report that's due November the 15th. Has to be done every year. If you do not do that report, they will not send you your money.
We'll do that report.
We have done that report.
We'll do that report,
Yes.
most definitely.
So, I mean, I think our last check we just got was like $500,000.
We'll be doing that report now.
So, and the bond payment that we're making right now is around $500,000. And you pay principal once a year and you pay interest twice a year. So your interest is probably going to be $125,000 a year. So I don't, in answer to your question, I don't know how much amount.
Okay.
That would be for discussion. And, you know, you could go ahead and get bond counsel and to come in and talk to the board about it and help with the recommendation on that amount as well.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
One of the things I'm just gonna throw out, that I had to consider doing when I was doing the budget was the retirement. Retirement increased, it just increased in July. It will increase again next July. And it's going from 18.4% to 18.9%. It'll go up 5% every year for the next several years. So I had,
0.5%.
0.5%. I had to put that number into the budget as far as employees go, because we know we automatically are going to have to pay that. Medical insurance, I put a slight increase in there, and it's not going to be enough based on the rate I just got. I had stuck $500 a month in there, and the rate we just got is $600 a month. But we are taking proposals on that, and we're going to see how that comes out. There, eventually, in the future, one of the things, you know, as long as these rates keep going up, one of these things that the board might have to look at is the employee might have to start paying a little bit on their insurance. A lot of municipalities have already gone to that. We're probably one of the very few that pay the full insurance. So it is a nice benefit to employees. So those were two things that I had considered as far as personnel. Let's see. We added a director of public buildings, which would handle like the auditorium and city hall. I guess if there was anything serious within the fire stations, that maybe they would be handling that as well.
National Guard Armory.
And the armory, thank you.
Land.
I think Craig probably can handle it. Mayor, was there anything else?
Yeah. So, budgetary items about certain positions, and whether or not to keep them in the budget, that would be during we could do that during an executive session now, to discuss that now if you wanted.
Unless there was any other matters as far as budget that anybody needed to ask questions on or consider. Okay. You know, the biggest part of our budget is employees. The next thing that probably would come up would be your equipment, trying to provide the equipment. For the most part, that's pretty expensive. Okay. So I guess then we would need a motion to go into executive session. No,
So
to
moved.
go into closed session, excuse me.
So move.
Second, all fair use, vote sign of aye.
Aye.
So during executive session, the board had discussion, but no action was taken.
All right, Mayor, there's no other further
That was
business.
motion.
So moved. Second.
Move proper second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Harris.